Casey?
No. Gack face.
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and happy Friday the 13th. That's a weird mixing of terms, isn't it? Now, you guys know I usually record these around noon on Friday, but from what I've seen so far, there hasn't really been anything to make me think, oh, it's Friday the 13th. In fact, if I didn't label my note files for the weekly with the date, I wouldn't have even known that it was Friday the 13th. Ooh, I said Friday the 13th 3 times. Does that mean it's going to come true? Is that how that works, or is that something else? And what do I mean, come true? There's no denying it. Today is Friday the 13th. Oh, I said it a 4th time. Does that mean 7 years bad luck? I don't know where this is going. Let's start off with jumping back to last week for a little correction, which seems to be a common thing, really, but I'm just a simple man up here talking about toys. And there's a lot of toys, so I sometimes miss things. Last week I had said that the McFarlane Toys GameStop exclusive Spawn Bloody Clown only had slight differences with the addition of some blood and swapping out the bladed weapons that he could hold. Wrong! The big mega weapons on the end of the robot arms, those are different too. So there's even more of a choice to make because these are more extravagant, larger than the compactness of the original release. Just swinging back around, letting you know, just in case that's a factor. But that is a wonderful segue into the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive munitions pack. You ever wanted to arm your 7-inch Spawn figures up to their rotten teeth? Ooh, now you have the chance. I know it says 15 count, but they're actually counting the dual wields as one item. So there's actually 17 guns in this pack. All for $15, which is less than $1 a gun. Oh, but I hear you say there's shipping tacked on top of that, and for an item this size, it seems kind of expensive. It still works out to less than $2 a gun. If you've ever priced third-party items like this, those can get a bit pricier. That's not me hacking on third-party creators. You know I love that kind of stuff. It's just that McFarlane is a much larger entity. So many more resources. Factories, discounts, mass production. It's going to be cheaper than doing it all by hand at your house, one at a time. But on top of that, this is McFarlane listening to the customers because there is so many Spawn characters out there that need weapons just like this. As a legal warning, you probably shouldn't add these to any other characters from other lines that may be sorely lacking in this department. You know, lines that have silly stipulations where their characters aren't allowed to use trigger weapons, even though that's what they're known for in comics and movies and video games and whatever else. Don't do it! You do not want the full WB legal team coming down upon your head. Like I said, McFarlaneToysStore.com exclusive. Don't forget the extra S in the middle. Or if you just want to click a link, that's in the description. Speaking of DC Multiverse, which is what I was just talking about, in case I was being too subtle about it, McFarlane Toys is also hitting us with a classic Martian Manhunter. Now, Todd, it's only been about 5 months since you announced a more modern version of this. You need to let that see full run and be away for a while and then come back with a Martian Manhunter in a year or two. Because that's how it's done. That's how it's always been done. Quit breaking the rules. I'd like to say that we all knew this was coming, but you never know. I mean, he likes to swerve instead of twirl. Yeah. Looking back at that modern release, I guess I didn't notice that the pants had the same texture as the skin. That was probably a dead giveaway. Really though, changing the belt and the chest harness and the color scheme does so much to differentiate this from the first release. Oh, and I guess the collar, but that looks tacked on. It's got this weird gap here, like it's just a fake collar floating in space around his neck. This is Gold Label, available for pre-order on Target.com right now for $19.99. No other info though. It simply says delivered on or shortly after release date, with no release date. I guess we'll see ya when we see ya. Furay Planet is still doing teases for their Volume 2, which I'm guessing is going to be multiple figures this time around. For Volume 1, it's just Crocker, who we saw a tease of, or well, a further tease of. We had seen the solicitation pictures all painted nice and pretty, but then we saw a test shot last week showing just how big it was next to a Mythic Legions figure. And judging by that picture, he's large. Along with that was silhouettes for a lion and a tiger. And it is so hard not to make a bear joke here. Oh my. Instead, the new tease is a wolf. There's a naked wolf. Is it really considered naked if he's covered in fur? But then there's also torn up pants and trench coat. And I like the designs for both. Give me either or, if you're not planning on giving us both, you know? Last week I speculated that they were moving away from copyright infringement territory with more original designs. I think this is just further proof of that. But I'm rooting for this company. A lot of good designs, a lot of nice looking plastic or resin or sketches, whatever. Another tease I noticed last week as I was editing the weekly. I mean, I think my phone, oh, god damn it, I missed it. Looks like Medicom's dipping back into the boys with a MAFEX Black Noir. I need to watch this show someday because I started it, but then for some reason, I got distracted by other shiny things. You know how it is. But from what I remember and what I've seen of pictures, this is a cool design. So this makes 3 along with Billy Butcher and Homelander. I wonder if they're going to slow burn this over the next couple of years or it just fizzles after this. There's no way of telling. They have the sales numbers. They know what they're doing. So for the comments that I've seen of, well, this is a wasted spot. No, it's not. It may be for you personally, but other people want this. That's okay. Plus, we haven't even seen the other figure that's hinted at for this month. There's always a pair. It comes out monthly. They'll come back around to something you like. NECA also flexed a little tease muscle. Does that work? Anyway, a little sneak peek for their Universal Monsters series. At first glance, it's obvious they're gonna do some glow-in-the-dark re-releases of Frankenstein's Monster, Werewolf, and Mummy. But there may be more going on here. Even though I was alive, and I think proper age for the original Remco Universal Monsters line, I was never into it. And I didn't know much about it. I didn't know that this was an homage to the Monsterizer, which was a little playset type thing that they put out back in the day. And after some internet searching, it looks like the glows-in-the-dark sunburst logo down at the bottom is essentially a match for the original Remco glows-in-the-dark figure packaging. Interesting. For Super 7, there is quite a bit of Ultimates news this week. First up, it looks like the Simpsons Ultimates Krusty the Clown figure had some changes made to take away anything cigarette related. That means no smoking Krusty head, no cigarettes with the monkey or the alternate drink holding hand, and then the robe disappeared. Now, I don't know a lot about Simpsons. I thought it was a bathrobe, but apparently, from what I read, and don't get me wrong, this is the internet. This is y'all guys, not me. I'm just regurgitating what I've read. But apparently it's a smoking jacket? If so, that's going awful deep. Oh, there's an item of clothing that is somewhat associated with smoking. Be gone! The head was replaced with a absolutely sick of your shit Krusty expression, and then there's an added jagged metal Krustio. I can only guess that this is a Disney decision handed down from on high after the original figures were approved at some level. You know, even though smoking is still present in even newer episodes, from what I understand, but we must take it away from the toys that may fall into children's hands, even though these are a higher dollar direct market adult-oriented collectible. Then over on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimate side of things, they are offering up a Super 7 store exclusive glow-in-the-dark foot soldier. I don't know if this is a reference to something. I'm sure at some point in Turtle history that there was a foot soldier that glowed somehow, given the radioactive elements of things in him. But it's still just a interesting visual. It's an easy reissue that may interest some people, easily passable for others, and that's okay. I like this kick pick though, and it took me more than a minute to realize, oh, it's a foot soldier. Here's a foot. It just works. There's also the Czarface Ultimates figure, which made me Google Czarface, and boys, I'm getting old. I am way out of the musical loop. How did I not know Inspector Deck was still doing his thing? At first glance, I thought this was part of Super 7's The Worst series, and if you're not into Czarface, then I guess you could use it in that display. It's just a cool looking armored character with some Kirby crackle holding some parts together. Or this is a good starting point for a Doom 2099, now that I'm looking at it even closer. Finally for this week, there was ThunderCats Ultimates Wave 6. Kinda. The assortment is just repaints with some newly sculpted add-ons to make vintage toy looks for Lion-O, Chitara, Mumra, and Monkeyan. Yes, Lion-O's claw shield was just a flat red back in the day. And he did look like he was part of the McDonald end cast. Oh, but look, up and down hinge on a sword fighting hand. I think both of Chitara's heads are new because it has that solid hair look that was very LJN. Same for Mumra. Those head sculpts that didn't really look like what we saw in the cartoon. Again, just like we saw back in the day. But there's also the brighter, plainer color scheme that is oh so 80s. But my favorite is Monkeyan, mainly for the army builder aspect. On the show, there was always other mutants running around in the background, so this could work for that, especially with the different color scheme and the new heads. But as soon as the pre-orders went up, they were pulled back down, and they said that guns were jumped, that they got ahead of themselves. Which is weird because they teased Mumra last week, another thing I missed on the last weekly. That usually means pre-orders the following week. Did something neat changed? Or one of the pictures were wrong? Or maybe there was just too much other Ultimate stuff out there this week? I don't know. I'm just a purveyor of pretty promotional pictures. I guess we'll find out when the solicitations go back up. For the other items that are on pre-sale at the moment, links in the description. Let's cap it off with some Hasbro Transformers that are mostly outside of my G1 bubble, so I don't know a lot about some of these, but I can't help window shopping good-looking robots. The first thing I remember seeing this week is the Shattered Glass Blaster and Rewind. Do I say that kind of southern? Rewind. Rewind? Don't forget to rewind your tapes. Basically, in this universe, Autobots are bad, Decepticons are good, and their color schemes reflect that. I don't like it. Or at least that's the running joke. Honestly, I'm okay with these. They just break my brain. Boo this man. Boo! I just kind of admire him from afar. And I guess I can say the same about this week's theme of Wreck and Rule. Monday saw Impactor and Spindle in purplish goldish color schemes. The title says they're based on the comics. To me, they're just spiffy redos. Tuesday was Leadfoot and Master Dominus. How did they get my codename from the underground fighting pits? These are labeled as G2, so they're kind of past my Transformers Prime. Not that, but where I was in hardcore Transformers. I do know Springer though. He was revealed on Wednesday and he's just labeled as Autobot Springer, so I don't know where this color scheme originates. It does look very vintage toy though with the greenish face, but it could also be comics back in the day or something. Thursday brought us Bulkhead, and I have a very weird relationship with Bulkhead. I never watched Prime, but I haunted the toy aisles a lot when that show was on the air, so I've seen Bulkhead. I know what he looks like. Big, bulky, green. So when they translated that into the Legacy collection, where it would fit in with the rest of my display, I broke my G1 rule. Honestly though, I really like this because the camo just spruces it up. And then just today, to cap off the week, there is Diaclone Twin Twist. I didn't recognize him at first without the whites and the baby blues. That's how I know Twin Twist, but I don't know Diaclone, so what do I know? But I can't think Twin Twist without thinking Topspin. So is that on the way? Was he part of the Diaclones? Didn't one of those die in the Wreckers? These are all Amazon exclusive, links in the description. And you not both know. We may think that that's all for this week, but I doubt it. And if it's not, we'll swing around next week. If you're interested in seeing any of these pictures up close without me all, I'll be posting all of that, plus links to pre-orders, more information on the Fwoosh front page Saturday at noon. And I saved this till the end this time. Ooh. It's kind of a light week. I think with live events coming back, some of the companies may be holding back their big reveals to do it in person. Star Wars Celebration is the week after next, and then Vives and I just booked San Diego Comic-Con, and I think PowerCon is just a hop, skip, and a jump after that. And I'm ready to get back to talking face-to-face with other collectors. And there is something to be said about big, extravagant reveals at shows. But I also like the slow trickle that we've been seeing over the past few years. But that's also brought on incomplete pre-orders for cases, you know? We get a figure here, a figure the next month. Oh, if you order a case, who knows what's in the rest? What are you getting a double of? Huge show event reveals means there may be more for everyone. Instead of going month to month where you think, well, I don't like anything here. I guess I'll wait. Then again, little monthly debuts means less dead spots. You remember a few years ago, halfway between Toy Fair and San Diego, there would be emptiness for the most part. And then mid-fall, same thing. And the collector communities would just fall into chaos, arguing about every little thing, which isn't much different than when things are busy, but it's more noticeable, I guess. I've just noticed that it's been slower lately. To have 2 weeklies in a row that are smaller, that's odd compared to the past 24 months or so. I think we're going to see a slight shift in the near future, and I guess we're along for the ride. And that's all we can do, right? If you enjoyed this weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. Oh, and GameStop sent me a few of the new Bonebreaker wave. I've got Wolverine, and I've got Siren, and I've got Sabretooth. Now, you know me. When it comes to X-Men, Marvel Legends, I can usually find things I like. And I do here. I've got some custom ideas, and I'm okay with another Wolverine, although that's some bright yellow. And Siren, oh, yeah, she should have been screaming, right? I mean, that's her power set. But out of this assortment, I think GameStop got the least sought after. I'm much more looking forward to Havoc and Vulcan for that new body. Darwin's okay. He fits in with Vulcan. And I'm even looking forward to Maggot, even though I don't know a lot about Maggot. That wasn't my X-Men time.